Did you see what's going on with Radcliffe? The director of the CIA coming out and saying, you know what? Comey, Brennan, Clinton, you're probably all going to get indicted. This is major, you guys. He appeared, John Radcliffe, on my friend Maria Bartiromo's show, former colleague over at Fox. I want you to hear this. And it's pretty serious at this point. Watch.
So what I think I hear you saying is there is still an opportunity for indictments, potential prosecutions, accountability from those people who may have lied under oath, like John Brennan, James Comey, and perhaps Hillary Clinton.
Well, that's why I've made the referrals that I have. DNI Gabbard has made referrals, and why we're going to continue to share the intelligence that would support the ability of our Department of Justice to make bring fair and just claims against those who have perpetrated this hoax against the American people and this stain on our country.
Director, one other question on this.
That's a big deal. Okay, so Tulsi Gabbard, head of the DNI, and now John Radcliffe, head of the CIA, are both coming out and saying, Pam Bondi, we're going to need you to move forward on this because we have now discovered intelligence that they deliberately tried to suppress the will of the American people. They did not want Donald Trump to have a successful term, and Obama and his cronies allegedly worked together and schemed to undermine the entire Trump presidency from the very beginning. I want to share with you what David Schoen, he was the attorney for Donald Trump during the impeachment crisis. I mean, I guess there were a couple of those, right? Anyway, his point is, accountability is coming, and it can. He explains why. Watch.
Could Obama, Comey, and Brennan at the least face?
Let's put President Obama to the side just for a second. As for the others, I mean, if the evidence really shows what is being talked about now, and it can be proven, then certainly those others could be charged with seditious conspiracy under 18 U.S.C. 2384, undermining our government, undermining the will of the voters, certainly obstruction of justice, certainly perjury. They'd all be entitled to the presumption of innocence, but those are the kinds of charges that could be brought.
So you're undermining the will of the people. And those charges could be brought forward, and they could find themselves in a whole bunch of trouble. I mean, we talked about Clapper. I played you the sound from Clapper last week. He admitted, he's like, look, I'm lawyering up. I'm lawyering up because I have to, right? In light of everything. He was head of the DNI before. I mean, this is pretty unbelievable. And you know, I think back on it, and how they were still trying to sell this bill of goods. Remember during the 2020 election, when it came out that Hunter Biden's laptop was really quite something? And the FBI knew that he was under investigation. They knew that the laptop was real. And yet, what did we have? We had all these intel spooks, right, coming out, 50 of them, 51 ex-spies and spooks and hacks, to say, oh, no, that was just misinformation fed to you via the Russians and Rudy Giuliani. Somehow they had to, get him in on that because he happened to be the guy that had the laptop. And they were still pushing this. Even at the debate, this is great. Donald Trump's like, are you kidding me? Or we're still going with the Russia thing? Watch.
Talking about race right now, and I do want to stay on the issue of race. President Trump,
I have to respond to that.
Please,
because look,
very quickly.
There are 50 former national intelligence folks who said that what he's accusing me of is a Russian plant. They have said that this has all the 5 former heads of the CIA, both parties, say what he's saying is a bunch of garbage. Nobody believes it except his and his good friend Rudy Giuliani.
You mean the laptop is now another Russia hoax?
That's exactly what.
Is this where you're
exactly
going?
What
this is where he's going. The laptop is Russia.
Gentlemen, I want to stay on the issue of race.
You have to be kidding. Here we go again with Russia.
We're going to continue on the issue of race.
Okay. Well, here we go again, right? We're right back where we started because they tried to push a narrative according to Tulsi Gabbard's intel, 114 pages released along with some new stuff. Actually, page 17 on Clinton is really, really worth checking out. I'm going to show you some excerpts from it. Anyway, when it looked like she wasn't that stable, et cetera, There may have been a reason for that. Anyway, the Russians had a ton of intel on Clinton that they didn't use. Why? Oh, apparently they didn't really care who won the election. But you wouldn't know that with the way the media carried on and with the way the intelligence operatives, they carried on. I mean, you can start right with Jimmy Carter.
Trump didn't actually win the election in 2016. He lost the election, and he was put into office because the Russians interfered.
Trump knows he's an illegitimate president.
The president-elect, although legally elected, is not legitimate.
I don't see this president-elect as a legitimate president.
You said you believe that Russia's interference altered the outcome of the election.
I do. We have a president who, if in fact it is proven, has been assisted by the Russians and may in fact not be a legitimate president.
The one thing that Trump is fearful of when it comes to his being president is that finally we will see how illegitimate his victory actually was.
I have an objection.
I object to the 15 votes from the state of North Carolina. I object because people are horrified.
He's an illegitimate president.
Do you believe Trump is a legitimate president?
What I believe is that there's no question that the outcome of this election was affected by the Russian interference.
But there absolutely is a cloud of illegitimacy.
So that legitimacy is in question, yes.
So that was a very tainted election. And in that sense, it's illegitimate.
I mean, wow. I mean, that is third world banana republic style stuff. And the way they carry on and they say it so emphatically and they get so many special people out there saying it, you might have actually thought it was true. Except when you read some of the documents, like it just didn't add up. Like the actual dossier, for example, this didn't really feel like a piece of intel, but it felt like opposition research, which is what it was. And, you know, if Donald Trump really, really, really so passionately wanted Trump to win, then why wouldn't he have released some of the dirt he had on Clinton, for example, right? I mean, apparently there was plenty of it. I mean, just look at what came out. This is bad. Page 17 that got released, internal claims that Hillary was on heavy tranquilizers. I mean, whoa, right? I mean, that's a doozy. And suffering intensified psycho-emotional problems. Evidence of severe health ailments like type 2 diabetes and heart disease. There were internal DNC communications that Obama and others found Hillary's health to be extraordinarily alarming. And then there was evidence, you know, this is not as big a deal. I'm not surprised she did this, though, of secret meetings with religious leaders where Clinton was offering some significant increases in funding from the State Department in return for their support. So the point being, like, there was plenty that you could have used, but for whatever reason, he didn't. He didn't use that. And now it's all coming out. And Tulsi, she wants indictments. She'd like Obama to be arrested. Now, in fairness, you know what? I have to be transparent with you. Like, I don't know if that's really going to happen because remember, the Supreme Court made a decision on immunity. But, you know, some of these other folks, they're not going to have that. And all of those pardons that got handed out, like candy, 8,000 plus in one day, those auto pardons, it looks like those things are going to be null and void. So I think there's going to be a few folks up a creek without a paddle, shall we say.